ladies and mental gents.
Hello? Ah, that's better. Had a little squirrel stuck in my throat. Greetings, ladies and mental gents, again, and welcome to the Tales from Outer Space, where I take space-related stories from around the internet and read it out loud for your entertainment. All the relevant links are down below, and don't forget to do the usual YouTube gumph. And, as always, I hope that you enjoy. A quick thank you to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Cat Crab Lobster, DuckMachine, Try Again 95, Astraya the Dreamer, Mezec, Feudic Jarl, Germanchemist, Casper Arnholtz, and Chaos to Must. Thank you very much. Human Sacrifice, written by Original Rich Game. In our mythology, there is a species that is grander than all others. They will be our greatest friends and our greatest protectors. Sacrifice all for us. Of course, it's just pure mythology. Or so we thought. Humans were not exactly new to the galaxy. Indeed, they had been here for around 300 to 400 years, give or take a decade. Within that time, they labeled everything bad under the stars. Class 1 warriors, Class 1 death wolves, and were given the official title of Galactic Apex Predator. Although they seemed to revel in that a lot more than they should. During this time, humans were seen as Class 6 military. Not supermassive, but not exactly the baby size, to say the least. My species, the Galzi, was none of these things. We were very large for a Class 12 military. Toddler size, but were known as peacemakers. We had a border with the humans, but this was technically theoretical because humans were Class 0 quarantined species. Technically, this also didn't exist, but did at the same time. No interaction, no acknowledgement, and no exploration into the area of space. Effectively, it was the only discriminatory act passed down by the Galactic Accord Council. But then, one day, a human ship arrived in our space, trying to contact us. Now, technically, we were to ignore them and not acknowledge their existence. However, we also had the right to question any ships inside our borders. This was the biggest loophole in all history, and we were about to take full advantage of it. As it turned out, pop culture got humans very wrong. Indeed, they looked comical to what we expected. No pincers, no claws, no giants at all. Indeed, they looked cute and squishy until you remembered the midgets, I mean the tallest was 6'5", were somehow Galactic's apex predators. It also turned out the humans knew a bit too much about us and our space. We never found out how, but after watching the centuries-old classics and their modern remakes of James Bond, Mission Impossible, George Black, and A Trail of Lies, we kind of guessed how. They gave up coordinates for a moon near one of our colonies. It was lifeless to us, and even humans, and they were offering to pay us set up military installation. It was close to the border of human space and the space of the Khazar Empire. The Khazar were extremely warlike and had the largest navy and army at that point. They had been the ones to discover humans after hunting them in packs on their Mars colony Gamma. This went badly for the Khazar, as the entire hunting party of some 400 went missing. The humans later became noticed by the Galactic Accords as sentient, and therefore couldn't be hunted. Eventually, the Khazar stopped hunting humans. In reality, they sent out fleets of hunters which almost all went missing. This led to the humans taking over the Galactic Apex Predator title from the Khazar. This left anger from both sides that never went away, especially as the Khazar lived for around 600 years and humans could hold one hell of a grudge. Now, again, technically we were not allowed to interact with the humans, but technically we were also allowed to sell planets and moons to whoever we wanted. But that's what surprised us the most. Most big armies usually just entered your territory and set up camp, and unless you had a death wish, you must leave them be. But the humans had asked us. With their military might, they could have done that, but they didn't, and they were willing to pay and inform us what was going on the moon. This was so strange and too good of an opportunity to pass up. The only condition was that they build it as discreetly as possible. To their credit, they did build it very discreetly. Even we didn't realize how powerful it was, and they were updating us constantly. Then came the inevitable. The Carolina tourist liner took a detour to avoid a small plasma storm common in our area of space, when one of them noticed what looked like a military base under construction, and they took a picture that did moderately well on the social media sites. Then no one could place the architecture as it looked so different, and it did better. Then some genius figured out it was probably human, as no one knew what their architecture looked like, and the entire galaxy lost it in anger and excitement. An inspection confirmed it was indeed human, after they were captured by humans who thought they were being spied on. However, we stood firm that it was within our rights, and no one actually informed us of the inspection, which was, therefore, technically illegal and spying, so the evidence couldn't be used and the humans were within the clear. The Khazar were angry, to say the least, and demanded immediate action be taken. This didn't happen, and within a few months the humans turned the moon into an impenetrable fortress of death. Then the war began. The Khazar declared war on the humans. They said that we could stay neutral, but they would pass through our space, take a moon, and continue onwards. This is pretty standard for wars. We stayed neutral, and the planet was warned that they should prepare the bunkers. The humans were again breaking their stereotypes, very apologetic, and were paying us large sums of money as compensation. I was on the planet the moon orbited at the time. The new, fully fitted battle station was visible with a crude telescope, and I could see them fortifying the new extremes. Then the Khazar fleet arrived. It looked massive, and it approached the moon when the night sky burst into light. The station on the moon had long-range plasma cannons which shredded through the small Khazar ships that had smaller shields. The battle raged, and the Khazar used their advanced missiles, which we nicknamed Devastators. As they got closer to the moon, the stars paled in comparison as they were destroyed in seconds. But that didn't surprise me. We had been going down to the bunkers when we saw two Devastators, of course, heading towards us. There was panic, but then they were gone. The humans had dedicated a large portion of their base to protecting us. The Khazar left after that. The humans celebrated. We could see it from the live broadcast that they had set up. We didn't have the heart to tell them that it was a scout fleet. Obviously, the fleet saw this as a dangerous threat. Indeed, it even had a small space dock inside the moon because they came back with the first invasion fleet, the most feared invasion fleet in the galaxy. When they came, it was like death itself had come from hell. The first wave, the humans seemed to shrug off, and we still weren't hit by any Devastators or anything else. Then, the second wave came in. We could recognize the Japlok, one of the most heavily armored and armed ships known, heading towards the base. A battle of epic magnitude ensued. We could see the plasma beams easily now as the human base's shields lit up as an unrelenting storm bombarded it. The shields seemed to be very powerful, and we all started guessing at how big the shield generators must have been. The Japlok was taking heavy fire at this point. Using a telescope that filtered out bright light, I could see that they were frying on one engine and had large holes in the sides. Then came an almighty explosion, and the Japlok was gone with nearly no sign that it was ever there. The Khazar were infuriated and sent forth the entire fleet. Within an hour, the human shields failed, and the dust from the moon was kicked up by the never-ending storm. By nightfall, they were still fighting. The human fleet inside the moon had been released and started harassing their supply lines, but to no avail. What surprised me the most was that the humans were still using guns to defend us. Us, not their allies, just normal people. Then the guns fell silent. We rushed out of our bunkers to have a look at the damage. A few places down here had been hit, but not much. Our moon, however, looked more like an archaic early human game Pac-Man. But then, as the Khazar fleet descended to officially confirm victory, a human sent out a transmission. They were still alive. How? "Surrender," the Khazar general said as they hacked into the human transmission. "You have lost. You have fought more than honorably, and your names will be remembered by all peoples as great." He didn't finish. The human smiled alongside her colleagues and said, "Fuck you, bitch." Then there was an explosion. We looked up and gaped in awe as the galaxy found out what the word sacrifice truly meant. They had blown themselves up. The entire base had been destroyed, and almost all of the fleet in one explosion. Just then, ironically too late, the human fleet arrived. Now, it was the Khazar who surrendered. Within a year, the humans conquered the Khazar Empire and set them free as democratic nation. But I will always remember the day the humans showed us sacrifice. Then we knew they were our protectors. They were the creatures of our mythology. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.